So guys, we finally did it. We finally got the flagship car, a 911 991.2 GT3RS. The last time I filmed the video, I know that we had the GT4RS and Ruby Star, but I finally decided to pull the trigger and get the dream car, this beautiful white GT3RS in the perfect spec how I wanted it. We have the carbon ceramic brakes, we have the carbon bucket seats. Obviously it's not a VISAC package, which I'm totally fine with. It's just an aesthetic mod, which I don't really care about. But I knew I wanted to make sure that this time I do have the 911 in my garage. I was kind of sad to trade in the GT4RS, but at the same time, knowing that I could get a 911 for an amazing deal, it was just a no-brainer. Now, after having this car for about a week, there's been a lot of key differences that I've noticed from owning a GT4RS to a GT3RS. I know a week is not long enough to really tell what this car and the differences that can really be shown after having a longer term ownership. Bear in mind, I did have the GT4RS for about 3.5 months or so. I was able to experience that car to its full extent, from street driving to the track to daily usability. And this, I've only taken this to 1, get gas, 2, get a car wash, and 3, a grocery run here and there. But from that week that I've had this car already, some key differences that I've noticed is 1, the weight distribution. With the GT4RS, with it being a mid-engine, you can really feel the weight difference right behind you compared to the 911. 911, you could definitely tell that this thing is very heavy in the back. I mean, this car only weighs about 3,200 pounds, and it's about the same with the GT4RS, but the weight distribution, you could definitely tell. So when I'm exiting a freeway on a ramp and there's a curve on a ramp where it tells you to only go 55 miles per hour, I can take that thing at 75 miles per hour and I can feel planted. So that's some things that I've noticed. With the GT4RS on the street, it just feels quicker. I'm not sure exactly why it would feel quicker, but it feels very, very quick. This here, low end torque is not as prominent as compared to the GT4RS, but once you get into the high revving RPMs, that's when you really do feel the power. In terms of the noise is way more mute in this car. I think 1, just because it's rear engine, and 2, with the GT4RS being mid-engine and being right behind you, you hear the induction noise, you hear the airbox, you hear the engine. I know that the average volume at around 7,000 to 8,000 RPMs get to about 80 decibels, which can ultimately lead into hearing loss. And that's something that, I mean, it's cool when I'm young, but once I get older, I do not want to have to experience that. I feel like I already have hearing loss now. But that's also something that is a really key difference, because in terms of driving the car itself, you do hear more of the GT4RS on the street inside. But with this car, I've noticed, like, when I have the windows down, I can hear the exhaust. I can hear the exhaust more, the tone sounds a little bit better. And so those are some things that I've noticed so far. In terms of everything else, I know that you see here, I have the carbon ceramic brakes, and on my GT4RS, I had the steel brakes. With the GT4RS steel brakes, they did have really good biting power, but with the PCCBs, these bite so much better. And so I'm glad that I do have the PCCBs, but at the same time, I do want to track this car. And so with that being said, tracking a car with carbon ceramic brakes costs a lot of money. So there's going to be some changes here and there for switching them over to steel brakes, so it'll be more efficient in terms of cost of changing the brakes, rather than having to handle these and go take these to a dealership or whatever brake job you want to do, or brake shop that you want to do them at. And obviously, with this being a different car, it looks totally different. I know that with the 911s and the 718 Caymans, they look very, very different, but with the RS, they come with the same functional vents. I know that here that we still have the NACA ducts, we still have the fender vents, and then we also have a spoiler and then a splitter. But with the 911, and just how sleek it looks, how well it looks, how classy it looks. It's always going to have that classic shape that the GT4RS, being the little brother, is always going to have that shadow. And so 911s, I feel like, have the best looking front profile, side profile, back profile. It has more of a wide body. The side view profile just looks way more sharp. There's the quarter profile on the GT3RS looks better as well. I think with the GT4RS, it kind of had like a little stubby, chubby look, and I feel like it didn't finish and complement what the whole car would look like. And so I'm very happy with what Porsche has done. They've always kept the same design for years and years, and there's nothing that could beat it. It's just Porsche being Porsche. Another huge difference with the 911, at least for the GT3RS and 991.2s comparing it to the GT4RS, is this big ass wing. Comparing to the GT4RS, we did have its own little small wing that fit the Cayman, but with this one is huge. Like, this has, at 120 miles per hour, it provides up to 720-ish pounds of downforce. That's pretty much like a huge bear sitting on your car at 120 miles per hour, which is insane compared to the GT4RS, where it only had about 250 pounds at 120 miles per hour. So I mean, you could tell that Porsche really made sure that the 911 was the one, had the best aero, the best speed, the better, just better in general. So I mean, this looks like an expensive dinner table that you can have. I can put my son on here, and so I'm really glad to see what they've done. And comparing it to the 992s, I know the 992s have more of the van spoiler with DRS and all the intricate things that you could do. But for me, I like the simplicity of having more of just a classic, simple car. I know this is loud already, but this kind of blends in way better. It's not too crazy, but yeah, I'm super excited to take this on the track and kind of feel the differences in downforce and see where I can really understand and get a better feel of what the car can do at its limits. As it being rear engine, obviously there's not going to be any trunk space compared to the GT4RS. Engine's right here. You try to open the trunk, and this is what pops up. You have the whole engine, carbon fiber, you have the fans to cool, put your oil in here. And so, I mean, that's what I really like, because with the GT4RS, I know that it did have trunk space. I feel like with this car, I do have more space, because when you do open the car up and then you look at the back, there's some space for that. I mean, from the 911 Carreras, they do have back seats, so you could put a small child or a very small adult, very, very small adult. And so with that, I think with the 911s, in terms of space, I feel like there's more space in here. Now let's talk about how big the rear looks. I mean, comparing it to the GT4RS, I feel like the rear on this car complements the body and the shape. It's just, it fits in so well. It just makes it look like it's a wide body compared to the GT4RS, where it was very small, and I feel like the body lines didn't really complement each other going to the rear. What I also do like compared to the 992s with this generation, I know the 992s have the long light bar here. Like I said, I like the classic look, and so with that, I like having the two rear tail lights being separated, just like this. Now, with that being said, I know I've only had this car for about a week, and I had the GT4RS for about 3.5 months. Would I recommend this car already to somebody who either does or doesn't have a GT4RS? In my case, yes. Overall, this car is just a better car. I mean, when it comes to the looks, when it comes to the power, when it comes to the brakes, this car in itself is experience. And you could tell, I mean, with the GT4RS, when I did drive it on the street, yes, I did get a lot of looks. But with this, no matter what, if I'm on the street, if I'm going to the grocery store, wherever I'm going, I've always noticed people peeping their head out the windows. And I know that's not what you bought the car for, but it just comes with the experience. And with the driving experience itself, I know I haven't taken to the track yet, but once I do, then I'll really figure out if this car is ultimately better on track than the GT4RS. But in terms of what I've experienced so far, this car is overall the better car in my opinion. For the people who do or do not have a GT4RS, would you buy a 991.2 GT3RS? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and please be tuned on next videos coming up.